All right, out of it we charge. An MX3 looking out. There's the vintage bikes left back on the line. We'll have the split start for them. Who's it going to be, inside or outside? And I think that's going to be the inside line, and coming up through there, 211. He got it last time. Brad Cameron, he won the race right at the last minute. Might have qualified third, but he won that race right here on the finish line, just as you saw Amy Roberts do over Zara Gray in that race. That's what we saw from Brad Cameron last time. So good on you, Brad. Away to a good start in our MX3 lineup.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff from Brad there. He won this race on the last corner. This time he's going to lead it from the front. We've also got the whole shot for the vintage motocross. That is with the mighty Mitch Rowe at the moment on the number 3 seat, the Kawasaki KX500. So brilliant stuff from Mitchell. He leads that one ahead of the number 16, Bryce McDougall. So Bryce on the CR250. Also got Kevin Duncan on his awesome Yamaha in there. Jaden Rowe, that's Mitch's son. He's out there on the number 9. That's a KX125, I believe. So different bikes from different eras, all out there at the vintage motocross. Brilliant to see 8 of them out there. And fantastic. So we've got 22 MX3s out there. We've got 8 vintage. That makes 30 riders on track. Split start. And Brad and Danny, these guys were awesome to watch last time around. And look at Danny out the inside of the wall, not going to be quite close enough, but we've got Brad Cameron, Danny Merriman. That's our battle for the lead, and these guys are flying for MX3 riders.
Right, MX3 and the 211 out there at the moment. Late entry not on your program for the MX timing, MX3 class, and 211 for Brad Cameron, pushed along by 226, and he too not in the program. Danny Merriman looking out for 375. Cullen Patterson out of Cambridge on the Blackwood Yamaha, and going through there with Yamaha Blue Crew Action Down Under Industries as well. So Cullen Patterson sitting in third place with the update. A reminder, of course, lunch break after this race, and this is what you always know when it's time for the lunch break, when the dust has got up a little bit, so the water will just tame that down and make it a better track for the afternoon's competition still to come. Here we are back to our VMX Vintage Motocross, and the 3 now of Mr. Mitch Rowe on the big beautiful Kawasaki KX500 out there. Back then to 16 and Bryce McDougall along with 4, Kevin Duncan, 16 and 9 to go for Jaden Rowe, and the 33 then of Rob Sutherland. And in effect, one I want to take into consideration as well, I'm pretty sure, has been the Olsen Harvest logging man in there as well, Mr. Morris Pullman. And not quite sure whether Morris is still out on the motor, but I know that he did start today after all. So there you have it, an update. But Brad, another good example of 2 great guys and 2 great racing. And can Daniel Merriman do the Brad Cameron and steal it at the final? We saw it with the women's class, but more importantly, we saw it with this class the other way around earlier today.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he just dropped it in the S's, but I'm going to give him so far the save of the weekend, the quickest recovery I've ever seen. He was completely disconnected from the motorcycle, grabbed the handlebars, got back going again, managed to get the clutch in, and a fantastic recovery. So there he is. You can see him on track just behind Brad. He's only about 15 bike lengths away, but he was completely on the ground in the S's. So what a good recovery to get back into second place as we see this classy MX3 field out there, brought to you by MXT. There it is, the 211 of Brad Cameron ahead of the 226 of Daniel Merriman. Then we've got the 375 in there, so a great start from Cullen Patterson this time around. He's sitting in third place. We've got Caleb in there as well on the 158 machine. We've got the 741 of Josh Neas, and there we go with MX3. So 22 started MX3 there, and fantastic to see. We've also got the vintage motocross as well, so we'll keep an eye on that mighty KX500 of Mitchell Rowe. He's going over the wall jump at the moment. So the split start and all action aplenty for Summercross.
Hey, well, I just want to point out, if those of you want a bit of an idea of what, you know, if you follow the sport a little bit more than just the modern day, if you're looking at the vintage, have a look at bike number 67 out there, Kevin Smith. Now, that is a KTM 250, folks. So have a look at what a KTM bike looked like over 30 years ago, the KTM that he's riding. So fantastic to see bikes from yesteryear. And some just from yesterday, but the yesteryear bikes and that KTM is just fantastic to see. So look at it, Kev, and he's got some of the old board sponsors on there. He's certainly not a young guy himself, but more importantly, what he's done to this bike and the way it's been done up and presented here today, it's an absolute masterpiece, and it really tells us all that no bike is never too old. If you've got a bike that's 10 years old and you say that it's rubbish and it doesn't do anything and it doesn't go as fast, well, think about what it can be like in another 20 years' time. You never throw them away. You don't ever sell them for scrap metal. they're worth far more than that. Keep a hold of them and you can be like the number 67 Kev Smith out there and be on a classic motorcycle in 30, 40, 50 years time, as some of them, when they're that kind of age, don't have to be in that time, but you get the idea. All right, here we are, coming down to it again. Look at the 211, and Brad Cameron on the inside. Brad to get up there, Danny Merriman. Oh, look at that from Merriman, good recovery. He had the save there you talked about before, Brad, and he's now right on his tail. So look at, I reckon we're going to go the other way. I reckon we'll go the other way, exactly as Brad Cameron did on Dan Merriman. We've learned from that, and I reckon Dan's going to do the same back to Brad later on the moto. So two of them on KTMs. These are two unknown riders. Doesn't matter about who they are. More important is where they are. They're in the front of a good MX3 class here today. So Brad Cameron, lovely bit of cornering to watch out there, along then with Danny Merriman and the Merriman family, synonymous, great name here in the Bay of Plenty. After all, it's the heritage of Stephen Merriman as a young schoolboy, became the World Trials Champion, and of course went on to become a World Enduro Champion. Changed his allegiance after living in Australia, became an Australian, but we're proud as a Kiwi that he was our World Junior Trials Champion. So the name Merriman in the Bay of Plenty, synonymous with great two-wheel riding. And no different, of course, his father, Warwick, was a great moto trials ace as well. Stefan, always to be remembered in our sport, and one who I'd like to think in a few years' time we can remember again in acknowledging our world champions. All right, here we are, look at this. Here's that little bike again, the number 67 coming past. Look at that, even with the Chesterfield, that would be illegal today. That's a cigarette advertising, I'll let you know. But of course, it's old school gear. So there he is with the Chesterfield gear on. He's just going over the number 1 jump here at the moment. Hardly gets the wheel off the ground, but love to see that. That's retro, folks. That is old school. And if he's got a mullet, well, he'd be the original legend, wouldn't he? I'm just giving you an idea. That is so cool to see. Chesterfield sponsorship, just like the teams were back many moons ago, back in the 80s and 90s. Gotta love it. All right, here we are. Keen to look out for our leading boys. Here we are, down here again. And still the Brad and Danny show, And the white, I think, is going to be out on the next side. Just get the idea, it might be white next time. The officials were just looking at it. Here we go now to this battle again. And our 211. Here we are with the Brad Cameron looking it out for it. And the... Here we go. Well, in fact, yes, it is a change. So Danny's got it. I had predicted what would happen. I thought it was going to be a little lap later, but no, it has happened already. So Danny is there. Danny Merriman. So Danny to take that advantage. Good work out there as he comes round past the dam jump and up over the top, courtesy of encountercamps.org. Great to support the youth of today when we see so much scrutiny on the youth and awareness of mental illness and other things. I love Encounter Camps and what they believe in and what they strive to for the betterment of youth, and they use motocross as a catalyst to give encouragement to the young people of today. So those Encounter Camps are awesome, and they do a lot of riding and have a lot of fun, and it's all about camaraderie. And to serious and senior and beautiful counsellors, the likes of the Mary and her crew, they are just fabulous. So Encounter Camps, if you're looking for something for your young people to do and not sure where they're heading in life, I can tell you Encounter Camps have been a real winner. And they've even had their father-son camps as well, to give an idea of that bonding, which is not seen now, which is super important as young people grow up in this modern social media driven world. All right, here we are in the big bike fight, and do I get the idea of that flag? Oh, I don't know, I might have been a little bit premature, was I? We'll wait and see. Here we are looking for the battles, looking for the battle. Here we are with Danny all the way. Oh, 3 laps to go. Thank you. There we are. Yes, there's the 226. There he goes. 226 and your race leader. Here's the 211 this time. So it is, in fact, up there as well in the bike fight going on. And a 26 rider total field with our combination of MX3 and our vintage. And we have Danny Merriman, Brad Cameron, 741. Then Josh Niehurst ahead of Cullum Patterson, and then Caleb Livesley. I'm sure I get my tongue tied around that one wrong, but there we are, Caleb. You can take the credit of that next place in the race. Well, Brad, we just saw a women's race where it was a tight battle in the front. We've had our MX1, MX2. I don't think there's been a race that's been wide open today. It's been tight to watch. Think of our vets as well with Damien and James. They've been close together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fantastic racing. It's a testament to the track and the committee to all the hard work they put on. So we've got a magical track. It's tight and technical and starting to get very rough in places, so brilliant stuff to watch for us up in the commentary box. Not so much for the riders, they'll be feeling this one, but the hot sun in the Bay of Plenty all playing a factor. We've got a nice little breeze coming through as well, so that's taken the sharpness off the extreme temperatures, but do slip, slop and wrap if you are out in the sun. Very, very warm out there at the moment. So we are almost on the last lap. We're just waiting for Danny. So Danny had a crash midway through the race. He managed to charge back through. He finds himself in first place. So fantastic stuff from him. And he's down the white power sports sawdust section there, heading up to the wall. We've got a big shout out to the 741 of Josh Negis. He was only the 9th fastest qualifier, and he's had a big late race charge, so he finds himself in second place. But here we go over the Scott Goggles tabletop jump number 11 into the flying final corner of the left-hand turn. There's a couple of good lines come out there. The white flag is now out for the 2:26 of Danny Merriman, our fastest qualifier. We got second in race one. There's the 741 in second place. We go back to the 375. Callum Patterson is now ahead of Brad Cameron. So Brad slipping back. He's down to about fourth place now, and under pressure from Ctas as well. So there we go. The top five really on fire at the moment. We've got a few of the vintage bikes coming through. The 4 of Kevin Duncan with the 16 of Bryce McDougall in there as well. So that's the vintage battles going on. We'll keep an update on that one. I believe it is still with the number 3, Mitch Rowe. He's heading down the back straight on his KX 500. So that's that update we can give you there. As we go through this 10 minutes plus a lap, we are on the last lap at the moment, and pretty dominant display this time from Danny Merriman. He's on the 2-stroke as well, so we've got 2 strokes, 4 strokes, and a bunch of different machines in there. It's pick your weapon, an MX3, whatever bike you've got, you can ride in here. So fantastic to see 22 entries, and also complemented with our 8 vintage pre-96 machines out there as well. As we look down the back straight, our race leader is flying at the moment. A good second place for Josh in there. That's on the 741 machine, our 9th fastest qualifier on the Max Gear KTM, thanks to Keith Ward engine performance. So good work from Josh there, second place, but it is Danny who's just got a few corners to go. He's around the White's Power Sports sawdust section. There we go. There's one down, but I think he's one of the lap riders. So we go back to the 741. We can see him in second place. The 375 in third. So the top 4 or 5 guys all still battling out. There's still arguing for positions. Caleb in there as well. He's just got up into fourth place ahead of Brad Cameron. So here we go with the checkered flag. It is going to be the 226 of Danny Merriman. He's going to take the win. And with earlier race winner back in 5th place, it's going to be a good points haul for him. 741 for Josh Negus. There, 375 for Callum Patterson. We go then to Caleb Livesey, and also to the 211 of Brad Cameron. So that's your top 5. Not much separating those guys, but a dominant display from Danny, 5-second advantage. But then the next 4 guys coming through, all within a couple of seconds of each other. We've got the 229 of the local man, Sam Middleton. Great to have Sam out there. He will come home in 6th place. We're looking for the 51 as well of Jaden McAloon in there, so waiting for him. We've got a couple of the vintage guys coming through. The vintage update is still with Mitch Rowe, and we've got Bryce McDougall in 2nd place, Rob Sutherland running there in 3rd. There's the number 67 across the line, Kevin Smith. He's running in 6th place in the vintage class, so fantastic stuff. Here is the 51 of Jaden. So Jaden McAloon running there in about 7th place, so fantastic. So that is MX3. Brought to us by MXT Motocross and Track Timing, and the vintage as well, brought to you by Tony Reeves Motorcycles. So there it is. We're going to have a short track maintenance break on our program, and then we'll keep it ready to go with MX2 back-to-back again.
Thank you, Brad. Courtesy of the Bay Weekend, the Southern Trust funding your community. Radio 1XX, along with check out the timing at trackside, mxt.co.nz. Hey, what about over the summer when you think of some of the other events coming up? New Zealand Superbike Road Racing, Eastern Bay, plenty of fans, Mitch and Damon Rees. You can follow them on MXT as well. So you might be out and about on a beautiful Saturday or a Sunday. Wonder how the Reeves boys are going. You know of them being from this region, so you can follow them on mxt.co.nz. Have a practice run and check it out today, and you know what you're doing. Thanks to Grassroots Trust, Road Trip Fogatani. Thank you to Bay Rock, real music and more of it on Fogatani 93.7 FM. I hope you at 100. 100.1 FM. So check them out online at Bayrock, or also www.bayrock.co.nz. Supporting Summercross. Our thanks to Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Be next, a new 2020 KX250. So Kawasaki proud to be sponsors of our mini motocross here yesterday. NZCT, New Zealand Community Trust, also as part of our sponsorship. Kawasaki Minis were awesome. So thank you to Kawasaki. Jason Ashworth, Director at Forest Services and Training Limited, Trident High School. Kia Manawanui, thank you Trident High. Along with Jack's Machinery, the home of Polaris, with Marine Diesel Services, your Yanmar Marine Diesel and Diet System Specialist, and they're at home at Sulphur Point in the Tauranga. To the Southern Trust Line Foundation, to Scotty and the team at RG3, your moto suspension experts, adventure, road, race, motocross and trail. Yes, watching out folks, the sprinklers will start up. They might splash sometimes onto the infield. They're generally set to go around the track, but there might be a little bit of a splash next to you. No intention of getting you wet, but who knows, in the heat of the day you may want to cool down anyway. Your suspension experts, and of course with Scotty right here at trackside today. So make sure you've got your bike working the best. If there's ever a rough track to find out, this is what it'll be. You can see them tractors coming out to groom it up a little bit at the moment. Alpha Pipelines, we supply effluent systems, filtration system, drinking water systems, water meters, rainwater systems, irrigation reticulation system. We can help you with budget advice, planning and supply. alphapipelines.co.nz. And what about custard branded water? Yes indeed, Aquaplus, 0508 Aquaplus, locally owned and operated, nationally distributed. Courtesy of WJ Dipper, your farm machinery experts in the Tuhui Street in the Taniatua, the home of Kuhn and Hustler, Dyson, UFO, quality brands are also Cowshed Engineering and Hamilton Jet Specialists. BikesportNZ.com. Huge thanks to Andy McGeekin. If you want to follow our sport through the rest of your time when you're not at race meetings, make sure you're on the Facebook page. BikesportNZ.com, of course, is the web. Put all those together and go on there, and you'll find Andy. He'll give heaps of reviews about what's happened here today, and also previews of what's coming up as well. MXD, your motocross custom graphics team, remembering Steve at mxd.co.nz. Fly Racing 2020 range available at Tony Reeves Motorcycles. Fly Racing, well-renowned brand right here in Eastern Bay, plenty. And MXD, of course, those specialists. Gene and Pete, Stratford New World Racing. We love Stratford New World. They might be from the beautiful Taranaki, but they still support kids in our sport as well. So New World, enjoy better, and Stratford New World Racing. With Prospect, of course, the new goggles from Scott with motogear.co.nz. Signage of Rotorua, your sign writing specialist. Skyline Buildings right here in Whakatane. Brady Drainage, thank you Brady's, love your work. Brady Drainage, you see the little Brady cat that's been doing some great work here with the club over this week, so thank you to Brady Drainage, and also to our Fairview exceptional windows and doors aluminium joinery specialists that we have up here in our commentary box. Also to Tag C, that's your timing and grants coordinator, Di Hatcher. If you've got a sporting organisation looking to get your share of sports funding and want to know more about it, Di is an expert, as well as being involved in MX timing at mxt.co.nz. She also does sports grant funding, community grant funding and local community trust funding. Check it all out. Hey, Laser, yes indeed, it's Laser Photo and Cameras. You find them on the strand here in Whakatane, and they've got the GoPro Hero 8 Black. It is awesome. Of course, more importantly, it's now 12 megapixels. It's 4K 60, and it's, of course, it has live streaming up to 1080 pixels, so it is great for you. It's the new Hero 8 360 Max Action cameras. East Bay Engineering, huge thanks to my mates Les and Pete down there. They're engineers for the pulp and paper, wood processing and dairy industries. You'll love them. They're quality. They're big, probably the biggest engineers here in the Eastern Bay. The boys are at Mill Road, Whakatane. Admin at eastbayengineering.co.nz. Long-time supporters of BOP MCC. With 2020 financial year success achievable from your financial advisors, Kryptonite at www.kryptonite.kiwi. To White's Power Sport at home in Hamilton, Auckland, Melbourne, Perth and Brisbane. In Christchurch, my apologies. 65 years in the motorcycle industry with iPone oils, and also to the Beacon and Lighton here in the Eastern Bay, plenty since 1939. Thanks to Farm Source, Nick's Autos, Perini Bike Park, to Underwood and Wilkins, long-time supporters of our game, but of course also to Tony Reeves Motorcycles and Brennigan Earth Moving. But it is, after all, Honda Summercross, so check it out. You'll see Cody at the back of the program. The new 2020 CRF 450R, available at $14,995. Whole shot hungry and podium ready. Hondas are winning, and you can be on board as well. HondaMotorbikes.co.nz. We're doing a wrap. We'll be back shortly with more track maintenance watering underway. Take a breather, everybody. Good afternoon.